And here we are on our first ever session on LinkedIn Live. My name is Kyle Zemke. I'm here with Matthew Buckley.
Hello.
We are both on the product management team here at iStorage Kangaroo. I've got 10 plus years of coding experience as an engineer turned into a manager. And Matt's got countless master's degrees and is an expert in cybersecurity.
Yeah, so I've been with iStorage Kangaroo for going on 13 years now. And I have a master's in cybersecurity as well as in information technology management, which is a fancy way of saying I know how to put asset tags on computers.
He likes to go to school. That's awesome, man. Today, we're going to talk about the importance of duplication in an enterprise situation. And
Awesome.
It's going to be related to, cloning drives, wiping drives, making sure that we can scale effectively as a company and help others scale too.
Okay, so we're going to be looking at NVMe and hard drive duplicators primarily. Is that correct?
That's right.
Awesome.
And we're going to kick things off with talking about some of the points that most people kind of like brush over, which is backups and doing duplications and converting data as well as scaling. So here at Kangaroo, we have a wide variety of duplicators ranging all the way from optical to USB to NVMe and SATA. Do you want to talk about some of the models and sizes of some of the duplicators we have?
Yeah, definitely. So since we're going to be looking at primarily the hard drive and NVMe ones for this one, let's start from the bottom and make our way all the way up.
Sounds good.
So for the hard drive duplicators, we have the mobile clone, which is this nice little guy. Probably
Even that is too big. It's a little bit smaller.
It's designed to do just that. It's designed to be a mobile device that you as a field technician can easily fit in your backpack, bring to a location, clone one drive, and put it back in stock. Probably my hands down favorite device because it just works.
You have like 3 at your desk too, if I remember correctly.
I did, yes, because again, they just work.
Okay, so we have the 1-to-1. So let's step it up. Do you want to talk about the 5 tower or the 11 tower? Or you want to go straight into the NVMe tubes?
You want to look at the towers? Yeah, definitely. So we have, as you just said, the 5 tower and the 11 tower. These guys are different duplicators in the sense that most hard drive duplicators that are out there are more horizontal and designed for easy attachment with drives for quick in and out access.
Gotcha.
The tower units are slightly different. So these guys are more, first off, they're vertical.
Okay.
They're towers.
Okay. So they use like a sled style design?
Yeah. Think of it like your NAS.
Okay.
It's got that type of opening and close. With that, though, there are a couple limitations. So form factor is nice because you can almost always have something that's nice and thin but tall up there. But inherently, the compatibility with different drives is much less.
Gotcha.
You're looking at, by default, 3.5-inch SATA drives are compatible. You can also use 2.5-inch SATA drives if you have an adapter that goes from 2.5 to 3.5 inch.
Okay.
The speeds are slightly slower, but overall, the duplicator works. It has the same copy functions that all of our other duplicators have. It's just in a different form factor.
Okay.
Moving up from those guys, we really have our more factory type duplicators. So we're looking at our Pro line duplicators at that point with the 7, 15, and 23. Those are much bigger than what I would be able to hold in one hand. So they do the same exact process as far as what copy modes or functions they each have. They're the exact same, just with more ports. These are your true factory units. They're built to last. They are SATA compatibility only. But you can bring in like an M.2 SATA adapter.
Oh, like an adapter? Yeah.
Yeah. You can connect those guys in there. And basically, if it's a SATA drive, you can copy it on there. There's even IDE or PATA adapters if you really want to get crazy.
Oh, talking to the dinosaur companies now.
Oh, yeah. Those guys are very, very solid devices. I can't think of many factory hard drive duplicators that are out there right now that are as efficient, not only in performance but also sustainability. It's a very fast-paced device for that type of duplication.
Okay.
You're looking at about 12 gigs a minute for those guys.
That's not bad.
Which is phenomenal.
Especially when it's just dealing with SATA.
Yeah. You're looking at inherently slow drives to begin with. So
Right.
that's a pretty good speed.
What if I wanted some faster speeds? What if I had a NVMe setup?
If you're looking at NVMEs or you want to make the jump from SATA to NVMe, we really have two solutions for you. The first would be the smaller 4-target NVMe. This guy is, again, about the size of my hand. It's a very lightweight system, touchscreen, which is nice. Can't go wrong with a little touchscreen.
We measure things by hands here at Kanguru, and so we just Matt is very busy measuring lots of things.
Exactly. It's compatible with all NVMe drives so far. You're looking at also M.2 SATA compatibility with those as well. So some of those Otter laptops, like my Dell that I have at home that comes with an M.2 SATA drive,
Interesting.
I'm able to use that in one of our NVMe duplicators and duplicate it either to another M.2 SATA or upgrade to an NVMe.
Very cool. And those go all the way down to what PCIe 1 to, I think we have a Gen 4 supported firmware version.
Yep. We've actually even done testing with Gen 5.
Wow. Okay.
So the speeds on those right now are around 12 gigs a minute still. But we are looking to improve that in the future.
And that's only for, copying a source to 4 units.
Yeah.
So, not as like enterprise level, maybe like smaller, medium business style need for that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
The real speed comes with, having a larger capacity and more power.
Exactly. And our largest NVMe duplicator is our 11 target. This guy is honestly a powerhouse. It can do up to 25 gigs a minute. It's compatible with M.2 SATA, NVMe, and standard 2.5-inch and 3.5-inch SATA.
And it weighs more than my full tower gaming system at home. So
it does have
it's a heifer.
It does have a good amount of weight, but it's okay in size. I mean, it's probably the size of
both laptops, maybe.
Both laptops.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Not bad for what you're getting. But yeah, this guy is just a easy to use device. Again, it's touchscreen, just like the 4-target. Gives you that DoD secure wipe. It has a couple different features in there, like the storage center, which I know you were talking about the golden image earlier.
Yep.
That's a feature that all of our duplicators have, where you can store your image on one larger capacity drive. And then you don't need to keep on pulling your source out of storage. You can just keep that one source drive connected and just choose whatever image it is you're trying to duplicate onto your target.
Yeah, and that would help with multiple images for different departments or different scales of different portable stations. Absolutely.
Exactly. All of those come right out of the box, compatible with the M.2 and NVMe SATA, as well as NVMe to SATA 2.5-inch. We provide 2 adapters to go from 2.5-inch and 3.5-inch to NVMe.
Okay.
And more can be purchased later on if you want.
Very cool. Very cool. You're running a security company, Mr. Matt. You have a lot of government compliance you have to work with, and one of the biggest things is backups. How do you manage those kinds of backups when it talks about keeping your data safe?
I mean, the obvious solution for most is doing a cloud-based backup. The problem with doing something like that, it's in the cloud. You don't have physical access to it. anyone can gain access to it if they have the right amount of skills. Physical backups are safer. They take up space, so that is a downside to them. But in the case of a fire, you can just remove them from the building and everything's good. Duplicators, for the most part, work for these. They come in all shapes and sizes. Most of them are able to do more than one drive at a time, which makes it a lot easier and a lot more practical, especially if you're trying to back up your servers.
Right.
So I would say more often than not right now that's happening on NAS systems as well as servers, items that are mission critical. So you only bring down maybe once a month for, depending on the size, maybe an hour. After that's done, you store the backup somewhere, and then typically you'll go through a rotation of maybe 3 or 4 disks that you use for backups and you bring up every now and then.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah. So, I mean, backups overall are pretty important. Depending on what methodology you're using, you have different types of media that you're going for. So, I mean, everyone knows about the standard spinning platter disks. You also have your SSDs. Mm-hmm. Then you have your NVMe's. Most servers
very new technology.
Yeah,
for a lot of
exactly.
companies.
And I mean, the NVMe's are great. They can go, I think it's up to 10 times the speed of a standard SSD right now.
Yeah, yeah.
So I mean, if you have a good amount of data and you are willing to invest, NVMe duplication is probably the way to go.
And that's a good point, because I feel like a lot of legacy systems are starting to go on the wayside. It's harder and harder to find parts and storage. You know, you don't see as many systems using that stuff. And being able to convert, you know, from like an old SATA to an NVMe or something similar is very helpful to have.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, overall, spinning platter drives are failing. They're no longer in. I mean, if you go on Amazon, you can find a lot of drives, but most of them are refurbished.
And they're getting expensive too.
Yeah. And so for roughly the same cost, you can get the same capacity SSD, which is great. Less power consumption, faster. I think SSDs maxed out around 4 to 5 times the speed of a spinning platter, of a standard spinning platter. But those are still using the SATA protocol. And as newer computers come out, especially these new slick laptops, they don't have SATA connections anymore. They're all going towards the M.2 NVMe type connector.
Yeah, they're getting smaller and smaller. We've even seen, like, because we have the SED line, which is 2280 form factor. I've seen some 2230s recently too, and those are getting smaller and smaller. It's crazy.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you're looking at a duplicator, you're going to want one that is compatible with a large variety. Typically, you're looking at something more than the budget brand NVMe duplicator.
Yeah.
I'll say most duplicators on like Amazon, for instance, that are under $50, probably don't have the compatibility to do the different sizes, especially when you're going NVMe. Most of them are that standard. I think it's 2280. But the smaller form factors are getting more and more popular. So you need to find that good balance.
Right. That makes sense.
Probably one of the hardest things you're going to need to do is find out really what your computers hold.
Yeah.
So, I mean, your computer is going to hold something different than my computer. And
that's true.
Because of that, you know, is your computer using an M.2 SATA drive or an M.2 NVMe drive? Based on that, you might only be able to go to M.2 SATA because your computer might not be able to hold your M.2 NVMe.
Yeah, and speaking of something like that, even when you're talking like the most recent like cutting edge computers, you've even got differences between PCIe boards, right? You're going from, you know, a Gen 2 to a Gen 4, and a lot of NVMEs aren't compatible. So converting data from one to another You want to have something that can cover like the full set of gens for PCIe.
Yeah, 100%. SATA was easy. I mean, let's face it.
It's true. It's true.
We in the tech world, we have been spoiled with SATA.
It's true. We have.
Hey, I have a 3.5-inch drive. Cool. My standard SATA connector is going to work in there because that's just what it is. It just worked on all of them.
True.
They decided to get a little funky in the mid 2000s with the M SATA, but it used the same protocol.
Yeah. For me, it's about, like, we were talking about mobility and laptops and stuff like that. And, this laptop I have here, I can fit 2 NVMe drives. There's no way I would have been able to fit 2 SATAs and have it still be the same size.
Yeah. I mean, I have a much bigger laptop.
That's true.
This guy probably could have, but my home system definitely would not be able to. It's a much smaller and much thinner. So
when you're doing that kind of like update or conversion from like a SATA or an SSD to an NVMe style drive, it's hard to find matching capacities.
Yeah, I mean, capacities overall, that's a completely separate subject that will take me down a tangent.
Don't get them started.
The hard thing to know is how much data is actually there. And I say that's hard because everyone sees your C drive, but there's sometimes hidden information. Windows especially likes to hide a lot of information in different partitions. Yeah. So, I mean, your C drive might show that it only has 80 gigabytes used, but it might actually have something like 120 gigs of total used space.
Yeah. So Windows is known for that hidden recovery image that's stored there,
Oh, yeah. It is absolutely known for it. It actually gets quite annoying. The cool thing about this, though, is most enterprise level duplicators actually have a few different copy modes to try and combat this issue.
Okay.
It's become more and more of an issue as you change your media type. So when you were with the old PATA or IDE drives, I mean, most of those got up to 40 gigabytes, and then you were looking at spending hundreds of dollars for a larger one. SATA, it started very expensive for the higher capacity and then gradually went down. NVMe is the same way. As you went up, the capacity started getting much more expensive. So you need a way to like try and scale everything. And a lot of duplicators, especially the ones over at Kanguru, have the ability to do what's called a resize copy.
Which is crazy when you think about it. When I'm doing like, a software copy or something like that between 2 connected drives to my computer, resizing is a lot. If you ever go into Windows and have to like resize a partition or anything, it takes a lot of time and it can be really difficult to do. But having like a resizer, like, a brief copy where it's only the used space and you're moving from either a smaller drive to a larger one or a larger drive to a smaller one for a backup or a hot swap, it's really easy to use with the duplicators.
Yeah. So you actually touched upon it with the brief copy. So a lot of different duplication companies call it different things. A lot of them are like image or brief or quick. Basically, it just looks at the partitions that have data and it copies those over. So you get like your partition table, your format, your layout, and then it just moves everything over. A lot of the resize copies will do that same function, but the partition table is then altered to take up the space. Most drives will now signal what is their primary partition. And because of that, duplicators, for the most part, are able to detect this and then expand that one partition to take up the remaining space or to shrink everything accordingly. So if you're going from a 500 gigabyte drive to a 1 terabyte drive. If your C drive is your primary one that's indicated by the by the drive and then recognized by the duplicator, it will expand that partition to take up that remaining space, and the other partitions will remain roughly in the same ratio. It won't be the exact at that point, but they'll expand it to a certain ratio. If your drive doesn't indicate it, the duplicator at that point will look at what device or what partition has the most data, and it will expand that one further. I know that some duplicators have the ability to select your partition, but I'm more hesitant on that because at that point you're already looking at having perfect knowledge of your drive, which is very rare.
And it's not always consistent.
Yeah, and that's just it. It's very inconsistent. I mean, the point of a duplicator, you want to make large quantities typically of drives. You want to save time. I don't think it's necessarily worth your time to have a tech dedicated for mapping out a drive and saying, okay, this is that partition. Let's go to the duplicator and change this setting here.
Right. And I just wanted to take a second because I know that our audience is actively listening, and I do not have as good of a knowledge base for duplicators as Matt does. So thank you for explaining it to me like I was 5, because I wouldn't have got it if you went into super huge detail. Every time there's a complicated duplicator question, I'm like, Matt, can you please help me for a second? And I'm learning every day, but you're the guy to talk to about the dupes. So
yeah, I mean, there's a lot that goes into it. I mean, every duplicator has different duplication modes and methodologies and reasons for them. Take forensics. So if you're working in a forensics lab, there's been an attack on a system, you have been asked to investigate this. The number one rule is you don't work on the source.
Right.
So, I mean, duplicators assist with that methodology because you can use a disk or a full or a complete copy and take a sector by sector copy from the source onto your target. And then you can do all your tests or investigations on that target. If it's a malicious attack, for instance, I can't think of a duplicator at all that doesn't have a write protection option for the source drive.
Yeah.
Whether hardware or software, to protect your target drives and your duplicator from any additional malicious attack.
Yeah, and it's good that you mentioned testing. I think when we were doing, especially, this is something I was thinking about on the drive-in this morning. When you're doing forensics in college, like for your comp sci degree or engineering or something, it's really cool because you could duplicate that source and give a sample drive to each student. Yeah. Or if you're at a game company or you're doing QA checking and stuff, rather than spinning up all these additional systems, you can make them duplicates of each other, making them not unique, making them all the same test environment. And so copying a source testing environment is really easy to do.
Oh yeah. And I don't know of a large school or university that's not taking part of that right now. Yeah. I mean, we're in August. Most colleges are starting up this week or next week for move-ins. A lot of the schools in this area are starting in 2 weeks. So this is when they are re-imaging all of their systems, getting all of their software added, all of that, so they can push it out to everyone.
Yeah. I know when I was going to college, one of the things that I also did was I bought the college laptop. That was the plan. Everybody was doing it at that time. And when you're talking about having the same Windows setup where you've got a college wireless software or even a company software like the firewall or VPN client.
Oh, yeah.
Or things like that. When you're scaling as a company or trying to do more as like a tiny IT department, because as you and I both know, our IT department could always use more members. So when we're not, super busy and we're overloaded, we can scale really quick with sending out remote desktops, the remote laptops to users with a duplicated NVMe of different versions.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, just taking the time. If you're looking at a standard system, you have an OS, you have VPN, maybe Office. My colleges never came with Office. You always had to do it yourself. But, typically a browser. Back in the time we had AOL, all of those things were basically preloaded onto those systems. You're looking at a lot of man hours to do that individually on all your systems.
And it can be really, really slow, especially if you're doing something that's like, I know I'm dating myself when I say something like SCCM, but when you're sending out like ghost imaging over the network or something, it takes a long time. I mean, the duplicators we're working with are like 25, 26 gigs a minute.
Yeah. Our fastest right now is 25 gigs a minute, which is awesome. You can do 11 drives on that one all at the same time. That's easy.
Yeah.
That's a week's worth of work, and you're done with that project.
It's pretty crazy. It's pretty crazy.
Even our factory ones, like our pro units, they still are incredibly fast. I think they're 18 gigabytes a minute, but they move. Those are more for industrial systems, not necessarily your college student.
Mm-hmm.
But you can find these duplicators anywhere, and they're going to work for that function. I mean, that's the best thing about duplicators. Software aside, I love software. It's fun to work with.
Well, you're also learning to code too, so.
Exactly. But duplicators are a very simple product. I'm putting a source here. I want to duplicate it.
That should be like the highlight, the caption, like put it big block in the thumbprint, whatever you're going to do there. But I think we're forgetting about our most quiet audience member, FBI, NSA. Anyone who's currently listening, we know you're listening. I work for the Men in Black. I'm going to wipe everyone's memories, yours included. Sorry, I'll apologize later. You won't remember. But let's say I want to do a refresh, right, with those SATA drives that I just converted into NVMe.
Yeah.
I want to make sure I don't leave any trace, if you know what I mean. We didn't talk about the DoD erase process that we have on some of the duplicators.
Oh, yeah. We didn't talk about basically any function. So a lot of higher end duplicators have functions for erasing that come in different levels. Mm-hmm. So you have your standard quick erase, which is more or less a glorified quick format.
Yeah.
Not even a format, just a quick format.
Partition table, gone, data's still there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Then you have your full erase, your standard format at that point. And I'm just going to use the terms vaguely because every large duplicator has these functions. They're
every
just
company's got their own.
Different. We also have a secure erase, which goes in a couple different paths. So you have secure erase, enhanced secure erase, and wipe. Secure erase and enhanced secure erase are methods of wiping your drive and sanitizing it to a point where it is not able to be used again. It's become more and more popular when you're looking at flash-based storage because those guys burn out.
Right.
I mean, say what you want about spinning platters not being useful anymore in today's day. They work.
Right.
Flash media burns out after a certain number of read-write cycles, And enhanced secure erase and secure erase run so many different cycles of zeros and ones and verifying and all
And
of
you
that.
can choose how many times you want to run it.
For the wipe, you can. For the wipe, you can. For the secure erases, you can't.
Okay.
It's set in there that it just runs off the top of my head. I don't know how many cycles.
It's
but
got
it
to be
just
at
runs.
least 8, I think, for it to be compliant.
So for the data wipe, you can set almost all of the duplicators that I can think of right now have the default at 7, which is the DoD standard.
Gotcha. Sorry, 7. Yeah.
Yeah. And so what ends up happening when I'm saying 7, that means that we're going through the same process 7 times. Each time, each one wipe is 1 cycle of writing zeros, 1 cycle of writing ones, 1 cycle of writing a random assortment of 0 and 1s, and then verifying that all the sectors on your drive have been written to. After all of that's completed, that's 1.
Okay.
And so most large end duplicators are able to do what's considered a DoD compliant wipe, which allows you to go through this at least 7 times.
Gotcha.
I know that a couple of the duplicators that I've been working with, they allow you to choose whether or not you want to go through it anywhere from 1 time up to 99 times.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it all depends on what your use case is and how much time you have.
I'm just going to head to lunch. I'll set it to like 70. It should be fine.
I mean, realistically, if you're looking at a 500 gigabyte drive that you're going to do a data wipe for. Now, I know I was talking about speeds earlier. Those are all the up to speeds.
Yeah.
Your very good condition drives. If you're doing a wipe, a 7-pass wipe on a 500 gig drive, that might take a day.
Yeah.
Whether you're doing it to 1 drive or multiple drives, that might take a day.
So I should plan ahead.
Yeah, that's probably something where if you're going to be doing a wipe, I would recommend for any duplicator, you don't plan on using that duplicator for a day, maybe 2, again, depending on your capacity and the health of the drives.
Yeah.
I mean, that's one thing, especially if you're going to try and upgrade your systems. You need to really verify just what's the health. So if you're going to upgrade your laptop today, you know that your drive has been running slow. Your computer's been freezing every now and then. You know that your SSD is just failing. A duplicator is not going to necessarily be able to fix that right away.
Right.
It has to still be able to read those same areas that your computer is having an issue reading and then move it over. So it's something that you should probably consider, maybe doing a health check.
Yeah, an integrity check or something. Yeah.
But I mean, that's the same for like if you want to scale your departments.
Yeah.
I mean, doing something on a large scale, you always have to take into account, your information. I mean, for you, let's say I'm going from a company of 5 people to a company of 30 in multiple locations over the world. How would you scale it using today's technology?
Yeah. It's going to be interesting because unless I have something that can do hard drive duplication, I'm going to be spending all that time installing Windows and the software installs and all that stuff. If I had some kind of golden image, I could just move that over and then just put in the individual license keys that I need to. It's going to save me a lot of time.
Yeah.
And the best part is that it's not going to be dependent on what model of laptop, because like if you have an executive who needs more processing power or a developer who needs more RAM space or something, the drive is going to be identical. It doesn't matter what the performance of the laptop is if I'm going to be doing multiple duplications.
Yeah. I mean, you might come into a small driver issue if it's a different manufacturer, but even that's really easy to fix.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, we just got our first question from the audience. Not trying to interrupt. Very exciting. We haven't had a question yet. It looks like they came in late. Can I use one of your duplicators to upgrade SATA drives to NVMe? So I believe we answered that before. If you want to touch on it further, we do have adapters.
So if you're looking at SATA to NVMe, we have two types of duplicators that would work. When we're talking about SATA, I'll first look at the standard 2.5 inch to 3.5 inch ones, because those are the ones that are most widely out there.
Right.
So for those, Kanguru has an 11 target NVMe duplicator that has adapters that you're able to plug in, and that has a standard SATA connector.
Okay.
So at that point, for that scenario, you would take out the source port, you would input one of these adapters and connect your SATA drive, and then you would fill in the other ports with as many NVMEs as you want.
Okay.
And you just run a duplication at that point. If you're looking to upgrade an M.2 SATA to an NVMe, because there is a difference between M.2 and M.2 NVMe.
Right, it's the difference in protocol.
Yeah, it's the form factor. You know that. The 4-target NVMe duplicator or the 11-target would work for something like that. It's just one of those limitations. The 4-target doesn't have the ability to use those adapters.
Yeah, okay.
But it's really slick. It's about the size of one of my hands.
I mean, you do have big hands, but it is still small when it comes to form factor for duplicators.
So, I mean, if you're looking at doing M.2 SATA duplications to NVMe, that's probably the better option.
I hear you.
If you want to get a little crazy and you want to do M.2 SATA to SATA.
Interesting.
I know that here at Kanguru, we have 2 product lines that I would recommend for something like that. One would, of course, be the NVMe 11 target, the one that could do the regular SATA ones. But I would also probably throw one of our Pro hard drive duplicators in there. They're SATA compatible only, so you can use by default your standard 2.5 inch and 3.5 inch drives, but with an adapter you can use an M.2 SATA.
Oh,
drive.
okay.
Yeah. So that would work as well.
Very cool. Very cool. Awesome, man.
But yeah. So I mean, I think that interrupted us slightly when we were talking about scaling your.
Oh yeah.
Your
No, I'm sorry. Absolutely.
Did you have anything else to add to that part?
Oh man, scaling is going to be huge, so like, I know it's also tedious because you're talking about like antivirus and all those other things as well. If you're running a duplicator, you can just have all of your AV installed on that golden image and it just works.
Yeah. I mean, realistically, you're looking at cutting hours, if not days worth of work. The basic process that you would want to take most likely would be setting up a gold image and doing, I forgot the name of it. What is it? A Sysclean?
Oh, yeah. I know what you're talking about.
Man, that's going to bug me.
The freeware, like Syscleaner or something?
No. It's a method in Windows that allows you to wipe out all of the basic info.
Okay.
And the reason for this is actually made for duplication.
Okay.
So if I were to duplicate your computer today to 10 different drives, those 10 different drives are going to have items like your computer name on there. If you're in Active Directory, you don't want to have 10 different computers having the same name. So I believe it's going to come to me after all of this.
I think you have it. You're talking about like the Trend Micro Sysclean tool.
Yeah, it's built in with Windows. Yeah. So what it does is it wipes all of that personalized information out of there. And in doing that, it allows you to better scale. That way you can try and do it more seamlessly, and you don't run into any Active Directory issues. That's I think becoming more and more of an issue.
Interesting.
The one limitation on most duplicators, I would say, because I know we've been singing their praise for a little bit.
Got to have a little bit of con with the Pro.
They don't go after firmware, and because of that, items like your hard disk ID
Yep.
are almost never copied over.
Okay.
I know that there are some software versions that look to try and mimic it. So let's say you're doing a RAID configuration on like a NAS.
Yep.
You want to duplicate one of those drives. Using most hardware duplicators, you're going to get the data moved over. But the moment you put that into your RAID system, it's going to come up saying, hey, this drive is different. What do you want to do with it? There's some software out there that's able to mimic this hardware ID. It's not foolproof, but it has its uses. It's specifically designed so that it works in these more RAID type situations where hardware duplicators don't have that ability. And because of that, it's able to better work in that type of environment. It's hard though, because if you really dig into it, you're going to see that there's two hardware IDs, and your tech better know what's going on, because you're going to get into trouble.
Right. I know that we've been talking about conversions and duplications. One of the things related to scaling that I've been getting a lot of questions about is when our new SED product line came out with encrypted drives, the duplicators won't work with the devices with the encryption initialized. But if you're talking about like an Opal drive or something, that initialization happens later. You could use those with a golden image.
Oh, 100%.
So if you're talking about like a secure environment, you can still use a golden image and duplicate or copy those SEDs and then turn on the encryption later.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Similar to like if you wanted to do like an Opal programmer or BitLocker or something, like those are not affected because you're turning them on after the fact.
I mean, you could even technically do a BitLocker one. So if the difference between your SEDs and something like BitLocker, your SEDs are hardware encrypted. So yeah, there's software that we use to enable the encryption, but it's not doing any of the encryption through software. That's hardware based as far as I know.
Interesting. So you're saying if I had a self-encrypting drive that was initiated and I had a BitLocker device, I could probably read the BitLocker encrypted data and just start hacking away at it if I wanted to after the fact. Because I could duplicate it as many times as I wanted to. That's a little bit of a risk that it poses.
Technically, yes.
You're trying to be the good guy here. I hear you.
So I like BitLocker. I enjoy it. It's nice and easy. I would look at it more of it's a limitation of any software-based encryption. So when you're doing a hardware duplication, you're not looking at really anything aside from the ones and zeros, whether it's encrypted or not.
Right.
It's data. There's ones and zeros everywhere. So our duplicators are just looking at that and saying, hey, let me move this over. After you do that, you plug it into your computer and you're done.
It's going to operate the same way.
Yeah. It's going to ask you for your BitLocker password. You're going to put it in, or your recovery key if you're one of those crazy people that knows it.
And I keep mine in my back pocket at all times.
And at that point, you're good. Your computer's not going to know the difference. On one of your SEDs, or really any hardware-based encrypted device,
If the partition's not available.
yeah, they normally always stop the partition copy from even happening. So when you connect that to your computer is only going to see maybe 180 megs, if that, and that's the only thing that the duplicator is going to see as well. It's physically unable to see beyond that, and I don't know of a duplicator in the industry that would be able to do it if the encryption is enabled on a hardware encrypted drive.
Yeah, you'd have to have some kind of like separate software application that knew how to do the encryption and had the password key or something available.
Yeah. You'd be looking at basically a glorified computer,
Right.
And then you'd be hiring a person to
It would be slower,
to do
too.
all of that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Might as well just be using software duplication at that point, one at a
That's
time.
true, but that's so much slower.
Oh, yeah.
And difficult. But so I got my desk, I got my duplicator, which is now a standard because I'm scaling the company. I've got my laptop and my desktop because every tech guy has to have 2 computers.
Oh yeah.
And like 7 monitors. I'm gonna have to keep turning my head like Nick Fury from Avengers to keep checking to see if the duplicator's finished, or is there a way for me to like see it on my computer?
Depending on your model duplicator and what you're looking for, some duplicators do have the ability to look and show you what's happening. I'll say this, a lot of the software that's accompanying most duplicators are there for monitoring purposes only. They offer certain features that work, like allowing you to activate a duplication mode from your computer. So in your scenario, you got this guy on the side. You don't want to have to continue to look at it. So you move the software to another screen.
Okay.
That's easy enough. I know that at Kanguru, we do have for most of our duplicators, so our 4-target NVMe and our Pro units, we have a software that accompanies it. That way, you're able to do exactly what you're looking for. There are limitations to that. It's like our 4 NVMe goes through the network. So in that case, your duplicator's on your desk. Maybe you're just there to do your regular job, and then when somebody else is done doing an operation, you pop those drives out, put them back in, and then send them a message.
Yeah.
That would actually allow you to do more remote work. So if you had like a facility that was just a warehouse where you wanted to put all of your manufacturing in one location, and then from there, any new laptop that needed to go out, it would go from that facility. You could do something like that where someone like me would be, I don't know, in Hawaii, for instance, and I could remotely, if I was like VPN'd into your network, launch one of the duplications as long as you had the drives in there.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
That would work.
Okay. Because I love notifications and stuff like that, and remote desktop. I even remote into my system, during lunch every once in a while to check the news and things like that.
It works.
It's great. It should work awesome. I don't see any more questions in chat so far.
We got one right here about compliances.
Oh, okay. I didn't see that one.
Yeah. We got, can duplicators help with data compliance?
So there are, like we were talking about the DoD, like, proof of destroying the hard drive or proof that it's been erased.
Yep.
That's a big one. Keeping track for logging when a drive's been erased or any integrity issues as well. Once a company buys a new drive or has some equipment, you always have to have that inventory audit. You got to have that asset management where you know where everything is at all times and what the status is. So I don't know if there's any specific compliance related to duplicating data, but I do know that having a paper trail of records is like one of the most important things when you're doing production.
Yeah, 100%. Always having that paper trail is needed. There are compliances out there, like for the DoD wipe. I would say most compliance items look on that side. The rest are, audit trails. When did you get this device? When was it brought to this facility? What operation was performed on it? I know that it's actually an item that we've been looking at because very few in the industry actually have that feature. But it is something that we've been looking at.
Well, it's good to have a product manager like yourself working on those duplicators and keeping to push the envelope and innovating with what it's like to copy and duplicate data.
Yeah.
So I think that's all the time we have for today. I really appreciate coming in and talking with me, man. I want to do this again. I think this went really well, being one of our first time lives. Would you be, a co-host for a couple more of these, buddy?
Yeah, definitely, man. It's been good. We have other duplicators that we can talk about later on too.
Oh man, so many duplicators. Because we just touched down on NVMe's. We also have,
we have my favorite little guy, the mobile clone.
The mobile clone is great.
I mean, you have optical duplicators, USB duplicators, but optical and the mobile clone, those are very good guys.
That's true.
But yeah, man, it's been a pleasure.
Awesome. I appreciate it, man. Thank you for joining us, and thank you, audience, for coming in and listening to us talk about cool tech and terrible jokes just the whole time. Not a single laugh. I didn't hear from anyone in the audience. Thanks, Matt, and we'll be live again soon.
Yeah.
All right, take care, everybody.
Have a good one.